Hello, today I'm going to be talking to you about totem poles. So, where are totem poles located in Canada? So, there's some in Alberta, British Columbia, the Pacific Northwest, and Alaska. So, some nations that practice totem poles are Haida, Nuksalak, Kawakawaku, Tismeshian, and Lingit. So, what is the spiritual significance of the totem poles? So, just some background about totem poles. So, totem poles are monuments created by First Nations of the Pacific Northwest to represent and commemorate ancestry, histories, people, or events. Totem poles are typically created out of red cedar, a malleable wood relatively abundant in the Pacific Northwest, and would be erected to be visible within a community. So, most totem poles display beings or crest animals, marking a family's lineage and validating the powerful rights and privileges that the family held. Totem poles will not necessarily tell a story so much as it would serve to document stories. So a totem pole typically features symbolic and stylized human, animal, and supernatural forms. Totem poles are primarily visual representations of kinship. It depicts family crests and clan membership. For example, some Kawakawakawuka families of northern Vancouver Island, belonging to the Thunderbird clan, will feature a Thunderbird crest and a familial legends on their poles. Other common crests among coastal First Nations include the wolf, eagle, grizzly bear, thunderbird, killer whale, frog, raven, and even salmon. So, what members of the community are involved in this practice? So, mostly the indigenous community practice the totem pole, and within that indigenous community, it's open to everyone there. So, the totem pole, and they even have ceremonies for totem pole, such as raising them up. So you raise the totem poles up to the ground so it stands up. Usually, a lot of people will gather to this and to watch this happen because it's a big part in their community. So, some interesting facts about the totem pole. So, one is the lone man on the totem pole was the most important figure. Native American Indian totem poles are sculptures carved on poles made from huge trees. These sculptures were made by Indian tribes of the Pacific Northwest coast and coastal Alaska in North America. While only tribes from this region, this art form was limited to regions where trees were very large and plentiful. The first European explorers to the Pacific Northwest observed totem poles, and it is likely this art form has a long history dating back hundreds or even thousands of years. And lastly, making a totem pole is extremely hard. The huge poles were entirely carved by hand. The paint was then handmade and applied. Today, chainsaws are sometimes used to rough out the design of the totem pole, then finer details are finished by hand, which makes them look amazing. So, what are the relations to other religions? So, the totem pole relates to the 5Ks. Some ways that the totem pole connects to the 5Ks is that it brings communities together and that they both have a belief within that. And these are just the references I used. Thank you.